Okay, here we go on these last 4 questions. I definitely didn't think there was enough room on this, like I said. So if you need to do it on loose leaf, go ahead. Okay, we'll rewrite. And we will start 2n again because there's the binomial on the outside. So I'm going to put my first number in this spot. And we just ask ourselves, how many times does this x go into this x cubed? Because you only have to look at the first terms. And if you have x cubed over x, it will be x squared times. And that makes sense since we're in the x squared column. You will distribute or multiply down. And we'll get x cubed plus 3x squared. And now we will subtract all the pieces. The first term will always be gone. And now I have 3x squared, and I will drop down the plus 13x. Now we'll see how many times that x plus 3 goes into the 3x squared. So 3x squared over x will just be 3x times. And that's positive. Distribute down. You'll get the 3x squared and a 9x. Subtract all the pieces. And we get 4x. Drop the plus 12. And the last step to see how many times does x go into the 4x. And 4x over x, that would simplify out to 4. Multiply down, 4x plus 12. Subtract all the pieces, and we do not get a remainder, which means it is a factor. And we get x squared plus 3x plus 4 times x plus 3 equals x cubed plus 6x squared plus 13x plus 12. And like I mentioned in the last video, you actually could go one step farther because this does factor. You could have said x plus 1 times x plus 3 times x plus 3, which is x plus 3 squared. And again, that stuff we'll do later. You don't have to do that now. The next one, we will rewrite first. Divide by x minus 2, and we'll repeat the steps. So how many times does x go into x cubed? We will start in that second spot because there are 2 pieces. And it will be x squared times. If you need to write x cubed divided by x to see, it is x squared. Distribute down, x cubed minus 2x squared, and subtract all the pieces or change all the signs. Negative 2x squared. Drop down your plus 2x. How many times does x go into negative 2x squared this time? And this time we will have negative, so be careful. It'll be a negative 2x times. So it's a negative 2x squared. It'll be a plus 4x. Change the signs or subtract all the pieces, and we will get a negative 2x. Drop down your plus 5. How many times does x go into negative 2x? That is a negative 2. Multiply down, negative 2x plus 4. Change the signs, and we are going to get a remainder this time of 1. So this is where there wasn't space to write these statements down. When you write your statement, it's not a factor. So this times this does not equal that. There would be leftovers. So you could say x minus 2 times x squared minus 2x minus 2. If you add the additional 1, that could equal x cubed minus 4x squared plus 2x plus 5. Or you could write it as a fraction. And it would be plus 1 over x minus 2. And then that could give you, I'm just going to write it up that way because I don't want to write it again. That guy. Okay. C here has a coefficient, which makes it a little bit trickier. Not too bad, though. Rewrite. Okay, it's a binomial still, 2x minus 1. There are 2 pieces. We will start 2 in. And we're going to see how many times this 2x goes into the 6x cubed. So 6x cubed divided by 2x, if you simplify that out, we'll get 3x squared. And we will distribute down. I forgot my square. 6x cubed minus 3x squared. Subtract all the pieces or change all the signs. And I get negative 8x squared. Drop down that minus 4x. Check to see how many times the 2x goes into the negative 8x squared. It'll be negative 4x times, a little glitch, I don't think that'll bother you that much. Negative 8x squared plus 4x. Careful with signs, change all the signs, and you get a negative 8x plus 5. Somebody would ask me what would happen if it would have canceled out there. Then 2x wouldn't go in there and you would put a 0 and there would be a 0 in that number spot. It does get a little messy if you do it that way, but it's not a big deal. Okay, last step. How many times does 2x go into negative 8x? It'll be negative 4 times. Negative 8x, this will be a plus 4, but when you change all the signs, you get a remainder of 1 again. So it's not a factor, which means it's kind of a pain to write out. And you could say 2x minus 1 times 3x squared minus 4x minus 4. If you add in an additional 1, you could get the 6x cubed. Or you could say 2x minus 1 times 3x squared minus 4x minus 4 plus the fraction 1 over 2x minus 1 could equal this guy. Okay, and now for the hardest one, because this is the newest looking one. So what happens if you have a trinomial that you divide by, and look what else happens here is you have a missing piece. You see how there's not an x squared. These are two big things that kids make mistakes on. You do have to put in a 0 there. So I have x cubed. I had to put in a 0x squared. Everything will not be lined up correctly if you don't. And now that there's a trinomial on the outside, we're just going to start 3 in instead of 2 in. So 1, 2, 3 pieces in. Everything else is the same. You still only really look at the x squared and the x to the 4th when deciding. So how many times does x squared go into x to the 4th? It is x squared times, and since we started 3 in, we are in the right spot. You will triple distribute down x to the 4th plus x cubed plus 2x squared. Change all the signs. Negative 24x cubed minus 2x squared. Drop down the 49x. How many times does x squared go into negative 24x to the 3rd? Negative 24x to the 3rd divided by x squared is a negative 24x times. Multiply down, distribute down, negative 24x to the 3rd minus 24x squared minus 48x. Change all the signs. You get 22x squared. What's this, 77? Plus 97, right? 97x. 97x. Drop the plus 4. And last time, how many times does x squared go into 22x squared? 22 times. 22x squared plus 22x plus 44. Change all the signs. Looks like 75x minus 40. There's nothing left to drop, and there is an x here, and that's fine because it's 1 degree less than what you started with, which is all you need. There is a remainder. It's a linear remainder. which means that it is not a factor, and the statements will be pains to write. It's the last thing to do today, though, so it's not too bad. You will have x squared plus x plus 2 times x squared minus 24x plus 22. That doesn't equal what we needed to, and I don't know if I gave myself enough room here. But if I add in 75x minus 40, then I get the x to the fourth minus 23x cubed plus 49x plus 4. Or you could say x squared plus x plus 2 times x squared minus 24x plus 22 plus 75x, this is so small, minus 40 over, I'm sorry, x squared plus x plus 2. That is so bad. And that could equal this guy up here. Okay, that's it. Usually kids make sign mistakes. It's frustrating because these problems aren't really fun for anybody. Tomorrow we'll look at this stuff. I don't think you'll have problems at the top part, but more division. So we'll do the division together. And I'm going to show you a shortcut tomorrow on the division that you're going to like. These graphing ones are going to take a little bit while too. So it's two kind of bigger assignments, but Wednesday you can get caught up.